If not us, who? And if not now, when?
The following is an EHC media production. Watching the WWE 24 coverage of WrestleMania 34 was amazing. Just brought chills to my skin and reminded me of how great it felt when I was live there in New Orleans.
I'm back.
We taking control. Yeah, come on. We taking control. Come on. We taking control of our lives, and this time we are not letting go. Yeah, come on. We taking control. Yeah, come on. We taking control. Come on. We taking control of our lives.
Welcome to the most must-see 10 minutes in the RWT universe. Welcome to War on Raw. And this is episode 10 because I haven't done these super consistently, but that's going to change. But since I only have 10 minutes, I want to jump right into this. And the show today, was kind of triggered in my mind. I saw this clip that I shared in the RWT group of two female Japanese wrestlers, I believe they were. And they had this insane, intense, crazy match. That the time was clocked, I think, just under 2 minutes. And it got me thinking about all the spots that they did and how competitive it looked, and the way that it ended. The ending was booked in a way that made a lot of sense to me. As far as when everybody's moving at such a fast pace, things really could end quite abruptly, quite quickly. It all made sense, and I got to thinking about the divas back in the day. If you listen to any of the divas do interviews, Trish Stratus and Lita, and all the female wrestlers from back then, they all say the same thing. Tori Wilson and they all say they didn't have a lot of time. They weren't. They had 4 minutes for a match or 5 minutes for a match. One of my favorite things about the women's revolution was that it brought actual women wrestlers. The divas themselves, most of them, 99% of them, weren't really wrestlers. They were just pretty girls trying to be wrestlers. So I was thinking about those Japanese wrestlers, those female wrestlers who did so much with 2 minutes. And those thoughts started to kind of foam and gel with what Velveteen Dream has been pointing out, and a lot of people have been talking about. I don't know what side of the line you fall on, person who's presumably watching this. But in the world of wrestling, and I won't just say WWE, because the reality is I watch a lot of wrestling from a lot of different companies. And honestly, it's in any promotion, there's always some weird, wacky, crazy gimmick. And a lot of people have a problem with the WWE product right now. And they're saying, Vince, you suck, Vince this, Vince that, blah, 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 retire. In some instances, I've even seen people on the internet and even in our group who aren't calling on Vince to retire, but are actually calling on him to die, legit die. And I always think to myself, what the fuck, dude? But Velveteen Dream would have you to believe that it's not the fault of the writers, it's not the fault of Vince McMahon, it's the fault of the performer for not getting the gimmick over. And to me, that kind of couples nicely with the idea of divas only being given 3 or 4 minutes for a match, and that's why they said that they couldn't kind of have a good match because they just weren't given enough time. Yet these Japanese female wrestlers wrestled a match that was just under 2 minutes, and it was a fantastic display of athletics. So I'm just kind of trying to figure this out in my mind. when something doesn't go over, when something doesn't go quite well, who is actually to blame? Is it the performer? Is it the writer or the person booking it? Or is it some combination? Is it the crowd maybe? I don't know. I think I've seen... Well, here's the problem. The problem with putting it on the booker or the writer is when you have a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin, who made, I think, pretty much any gimmick that was thrown his way work. And you got a guy like Triple H, who made any gimmick that was thrown his way work. I mean, he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, you know, bowing and with a pompous douchebag ponytail and, you know, a poofy shirt, a weird collar. He made it work. Now, you can make the argument like, well, yeah, these guys are living legends. Not everybody could be them. But the reality is, they didn't know that they were living legends at the time. When Stone Cold was the ringmaster, or he was a part of the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman, he didn't know that he would go on to be a Hall of Famer and have a Hall of Fame career. He just worked his ass off, you know. Triple H worked his ass off. When The Rock came out, made his debut, you know, it was Rocky Maivia, the grandson of High Chief Peter Maivia and the son of Rocky Johnson. And he was wearing all those blue Samoan things and stuff like that, and everybody hated him. He just continued to work his ass off. And at some point, he just became The Rock. You know, he went to the Nation of Domination. He just kept talking. He just kept trucking. He took anything that they gave him and he made it work. Now this guy is the biggest box office draw in the world. There is no actor on earth that makes more money than The Rock. People don't really... I don't know. I think I'm going to agree with Velveteen Dream. And I think the reason why is because it's easy to look at Triple H and The Rock and Stone Cold and Mankind, who was Dude Fucking Love, and a lot of these guys, and go like, well, yeah, they turned out to be living legends. But they didn't know it at the time. All they were at the time were hardworking people who took whatever was thrown at them, no matter how shitty it was, and they just put their spin on it. They put their flavor on it, and they made it good. They made it good. That just kind of is what it is. The world of wrestling, people are like, oh, look what Vince... Yeah, look what Vince is doing. Everybody comes into WWE knowing exactly what Vince is going to do. Throw some crazy, wacky gimmick at you. You know, don't forget draws, you know. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. You know, all that kind of stuff. We know what Vince is going to do. But if all these ideas were thrown out by Vince and none of them landed, I would totally get it. I'd be like, all right, fine, makes sense. But the part where you're going to have guys that are able to take, no matter how bad it is, they're going to take it and make it work. Allow me to direct your attention to the Firefly Funhouse. That the first week that came out, everybody was like, what the fuck? This shit is trash. Trash. Hurry up and get your cans out front. The truck is here to collect. And now everybody I see on the internet is like, wowie, yowie, or whatever the fuck. I haven't seen Monday Night Raw. I don't know when's the last time I watched Monday Night Raw. It's been a long time. And it was in Los Angeles yesterday. I didn't go. I am going to SmackDown today, ironically, which is in Ontario, which is much further than Los Angeles. But I never got a chance to go to SmackDown that much while I was in my master's program. And by that much, I mean literally never got to go for the past 2 years, so I'm going tonight. But Bray Wyatt is got on workout clothes and he's, dance, do your thing, right? And it's like, Bray Wyatt is an example of a guy that no matter what gimmick you throw at him, he's going to make it work. So, I don't know, man. I think the world of wrestling is like a crazy one. You could go like, this is just bullshit that happens in WWE. No, it's not. Look everywhere. Look at AEW. Look at Impact Wrestling. Look at Ring of Honor. Look at I don't know so much about New Japan, but almost anywhere you go, there are wacky, crazy, insane characters on the independent scene. But Joey Ryan's biggest move is essentially people grab his dick and he flips them with his dick. Shut the fuck up. And everybody, apparently, people are like, "Yo, that dick move, that's my shit. I love that dick move," you know? So I'm going to agree with Velveteen Dream. These ideas don't seem like good ideas all the time. Most of the time it sounds crazy as shit. But amazingly, when you got the right guy, he can take the shittiest idea and get it over. He can make it work. These wrestlers, a lot of these wrestlers, if they want to, if they believe in it, they can make it work. And then greater gimmicks come later on down the line, more organically, because the crowd falls for them, and then Vince sees, value in them, and that's what happens. Fuck, that's 10 minutes. See you next week.